The South China Sea, a stretch of ocean covering more than 1.3 million square miles, has become the epicenter of a global power struggle. Framed by the coasts of China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan, these waters are more than just lines on a map. They are lifelines for global commerce, with over a third of the world's shipping passing through each year, carrying trillions of dollars in goods. But beneath the waves and above them, tensions simmer. For decades, overlapping territorial claims have fueled disputes, but today, the stakes are higher than ever. China's sweeping 9-dash line has redrawn the map, challenging the sovereignty of its neighbors. The United States, determined to uphold freedom of navigation, has ramped up its military presence. Meanwhile, regional nations are caught in the crossfire, each one defending reefs, rocks and islands that could tip the balance of power. Why does this matter? Control over the South China Sea means control over vital trade routes, untapped oil and gas reserves, and strategic military outposts. It's a chessboard where every move is watched, and every decision could have global consequences. As we enter the world's most dangerous flashpoint, the world holds its breath, knowing that what happens here could reshape the future of international order. The South China Sea Showdown, where history, ambition, and firepower collide. Warships cut through contested waters, radar alarms blare, and rival navies are on edge. In 2012, the Scarborough Shoal standoff saw Chinese and Philippine vessels locked in a tense face-off for weeks, an incident that still echoes in diplomatic halls. Sailors stand watch, scanning horizons for sudden moves. Artificial islands rise from the sea, bristling with runways and missile batteries, each new structure a statement of intent. This is one of the world's most dangerous maritime flashpoints, where every move could tip the balance. The roots run deep. After World War II, competing claims intensified, with China's 9-dash line clashing with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. I'm Universal Insight, and today we're diving into this escalating conflict where ancient claims clash with modern military might. As Dr. Maritime notes, the South China Sea is not just about territory, it's about national pride, resources, and the rules of the international order. This vast ocean, rich in oil, gas, and fisheries, is a lifeline for global trade. Over $3 trillion in goods pass through these waters every year. But as the stakes rise, so does the risk of miscalculation. Superpowers and regional nations are making bold moves to assert dominance and protect interests. In 2021, a near collision between US and Chinese warships underscored just how quickly tensions can escalate. Strap in as we break down the most daring maneuvers shaping the future of global security. As Admiral James Lee warns, a single misstep could spark a wider conflict. The world is watching, closer than ever. The US Navy's Freedom of Navigation Operations, FONOPs, are deliberate challenges to China's claims in the South China Sea. American warships sail close to Chinese claimed islands, sending a clear message: we'll go where international law allows. These tense encounters with Chinese ships shadowing are high stakes and risky. The US insists these sea lanes are vital for global trade. Control by one nation is unacceptable. FONOPs uphold international law and keep the world watching. If a destroyer is a statement, a US carrier strike group is a thunderous exclamation. The aircraft carrier, like the USS Ronald Reagan, is a floating fortress, carrying over 70 advanced aircraft. It's never alone. Cruisers, destroyers, and a nuclear submarine form a shield, bristling with missiles and sensors. When a carrier strike group enters the South China Sea, it reassures allies and warns adversaries. The message: America's commitment to regional security is ironclad. These groups conduct relentless flight ops, air defense drills, and strike simulations, demonstrating reach and resolve. Their presence fundamentally shifts the strategic calculus for any potential adversary. It's the ultimate show of force, echoing across the Indo-Pacific. Every maneuver is a reminder: the US Navy still rules the waves, and every deployment raises the stakes for all involved. The US knows it can't face this challenge alone. That's why joint military exercises with Japan, Australia, and the Philippines are ramping up. Drills like Malabar unite the Quad, building real interoperability. The goal: seamless coordination so any allied ship or pilot can operate together. Harassing a lone Filipino boat is one thing, facing a coalition is another. A united front changes the game. The region is showing it won't simply cede control of its maritime backyard. Now let's zoom in on the front line: the Philippine Navy and Coast Guard patrols near Scarborough and Second Thomas Shoals. Scarborough Shoal, a traditional Filipino fishing ground, has been occupied by China since 2012. At Second Thomas Shoal, Filipino Marines hold out on a rusting Watu ship, the BRP Sierra Madre. Every resupply mission turns into a tense standoff, with Chinese Coast Guard ships blocking and harassing Filipino vessels, sometimes with water cannons. These are sovereignty patrols, asserting rights under international law despite overwhelming odds. US assets now quietly support or monitor these missions, adding another layer of tension. Filipino sailors face danger and intimidation, armed with law and national pride. Viral videos of confrontations galvanize public opinion and draw global attention. These patrols embody a smaller nation's refusal to be bullied. The world is watching every move. China's pressure has pushed the Philippines to pivot, granting the U.S. access to new bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. This marks a major return of American military presence, decades after old bases closed. The new sites are strategically located, some near Taiwan, others facing the disputed Spratly Islands. U.S. forces can now pre-position equipment, rotate fighter squadrons, and deploy agile marine units. Instead of concentrating forces, the U.S. is spreading out, making it harder for China to target them. This move deepens the U.S.-Philippine alliance and strengthens regional security. For the Philippines, it's a stronger security guarantee. For the U.S., it's strategic depth and a forward posture in the first island chain. The message to Beijing: U.S. presence is back, stronger and more integrated than ever. Chinese aggression is having the opposite effect, drawing allies closer together. Now let's talk about China's maritime militia, its little blue men. These aren't ordinary fishermen, they're a state-backed force blurring the line between civilian and military. When China wants to assert control, it deploys swarms of militia boats to blockade reefs or intimidate rivals. They drop anchor, form barriers, and stay for weeks, creating a dilemma for opposing navies. Confronting them risks escalation. Ignoring them cedes ground. Many boats are purpose-built, with reinforced hulls and advanced comms linked to the Coast Guard and Navy. They gather intelligence and disrupt other nations' activities. It's gray zone warfare, aggressive, deniable, and highly effective. One fishing boat at a time, China changes the facts on the water. China's island-building campaign has transformed the South China Sea. Submerged reefs have become militarized artificial islands, like Mischief, Subi, and Fiery Cross reefs. These are not resorts, they're fortresses, with deep-water ports and 10,000-foot runways. The islands are now a network of unsinkable aircraft carriers extending China's reach. Satellite images show hangars, radar arrays, and missile systems, creating an anti-access/area denial bubble. Any ship or plane in range is now at risk. This threatens the freedom of navigation the U.S. and allies seek to protect. China's bases shift the balance of power and raise the stakes for any conflict. Despite claims of peaceful intent, these are forward-operating military bases. The South China Sea is now a heavily contested, heavily armed zone. The South China Sea is a high-stakes confrontation with no easy off-ramps. The U.S. and allies project power to uphold a free Indo-Pacific. China pushes back with gray zone tactics and island fortresses. Each side believes it's acting defensively, but every move is a gamble. One misstep, a collision, a misfire, could spark a crisis with global consequences. The margin for error shrinks with every patrol and new missile silo. The struggle for Asia's future is ongoing, and the next move could change everything. Thanks for joining Universal Insight. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.